wanted more than we could hold. We chased the fire. We feared the cold. We called it life. We called it need. But somewhere lost what we could be. A restless mind, a racing heart, always searching, never start. We filled the silence, filled the space, but never met our quiet place. The body speaks, but we don't hear. It whispers soft, we run in fear. Until one day it cries in pain to bring us back again. Nothing was wrong with who we are. We just went chasing something far. What we became, what we believed, was built from what we thought we need. Lay it down. The endless fight. You were whole before the night. When people think about disease, they often look for physical causes. Viruses, bacteria, genetic mutations, environmental factors. These explanations are valid. Modern medicine has made extraordinary progress in identifying and treating physical conditions. But there is another layer that is often less visible. A layer that connects the body, the mind, and human behavior. If we observe carefully, many forms of suffering are not purely physical. They're influenced by how we live, how we think, and what we pursue. From a medical perspective, chronic stress is one of the most significant contributors to disease. When the human body remains in a prolonged state of stress, hormonal systems become imbalanced. Cortisol levels remain elevated. Inflammation increases. The immune system weakens. Over time, this can contribute to conditions such as cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, and weakened resilience to illness. But what creates this continuous stress? Often, it is not immediate physical danger. It is psychological pressure, expectations, comparison, fear of loss, desire for more. From the perspective of psychology, the human mind is constantly projecting into the future. It imagines what should happen. It compares what is happening with what it wants. When there is a gap between reality and expectation, tension appears. This tension is experienced as dissatisfaction, or anxiety, or restlessness. The mind then attempts to resolve this tension by pursuing something. Achievement, recognition, security, pleasure. But each achievement only temporarily reduces the tension. Soon, a new desire appears. A new goal. A new expectation. This creates a cycle. Desire, effort, temporary satisfaction, new desire. The cycle continues. Over time, this constant movement generates psychological fatigue, and that fatigue often expresses itself physically. The body and the mind are not separate systems. They are deeply interconnected. Emotional states influence physical conditions, and physical conditions influence emotional states. Now, if we turn to religious and philosophical traditions, we find a similar observation. In Buddhism, desire is described as a root of suffering. not because desire itself is evil, but because attachment to desire creates instability. In Taoist thought, imbalance arises when action is forced rather than aligned. In Christian teachings, there is often a warning about losing oneself in the pursuit of external gain. Different traditions use different language, but they point toward a common insight. When the human being becomes dominated by desire, something essential is lost. The sense of being, the sense of presence, the quiet stability that does not depend on external conditions. Modern society has amplified this dynamic. It offers endless opportunities for desire. More information, more products, more comparisons, more stimulation. At the same time, it becomes more difficult to experience stillness, to simply exist without pursuing. This creates a paradox. We have more comfort than any previous generation, but often less peace, more options, but less clarity. From this perspective, disease and suffering are not only biological events. They can also be signals. Signals that something is out of balance, not only in the body, but in the way we live, in the way we relate to desire. This does not mean that all illness is caused by thought or behavior. That would be an oversimplification. But it does suggest that well-being involves more than physical treatment. It involves awareness, how we think, what we pursue, and whether our actions are aligned with something deeper than constant desire. When desire becomes quiet, something else appears. A different quality of experience. Less tension, less internal conflict. A sense of ease that does not depend on constant achievement. From that state, action is still possible. Life continues, but it is no longer driven by compulsion. It becomes more natural, more balanced, and often more peaceful. After years